while there's all this excitement about the defensive parts, young quarterback in Jaxson Dart, Cam Scadaboo, Brian Daboll's in an important year. How do you feel about his ability to take this team where it needs to go beyond this season?
Well, first and foremost, they found their quarterback of the future. I love this kid, Jaxson Dart. He's got a little bit of red ass in him. He has got, he's fearless. He plays like Josh Allen played when Josh was first in the league. He's somewhat reckless. He may end up getting hurt, unfortunately, because of the way he plays. But this kid is a leader. He had 3 or 4 turnovers against the Saints back a couple weeks ago, and he stood up in front of the media and says, "My fault. I got to get better." And then 4 nights later, they beat the Philadelphia Eagles, and he put forth a pretty damn good game. So I think this kid has it. He has the moxie. Now, the question is, do they think Brian Daboll is the guy to bring it out in him, and are they going to keep them if they continue to lose? I look at their next 6 games, guys. We're going to find out a lot about him, and we're going to find out a lot about this team because they're playing 6 teams who are all headed towards the playoffs. So Brian Daboll is going to have to win some games here. The fans have had it with the way the games have been managed at the end of these games. This is one of the frustrations that a lot of fans have here. And if you take a look at his 4-year record here, it's not very good. So he found his quarterback, but that quarterback, unfortunately, is going to have to win some games for him if he's going to remain the head coach of the New York Giants.
Back to what he mentioned with the Giants, though, and Jaxson Dart, I think for the rest of the season, especially with a loss like that in mind, and especially with some of the questions about game management, that's really going to be the crux of it from here on out for Brian Daboll. Talent-wise, it seems like the quarterback has sort of helped them resurrect things to a certain point. But as you look out over the rest of the year, and the Commanders now going to be dealing with the health of Jaden Daniels as they go through the season. The Eagles seem to have figured it out, but that's kind of a week-by-week grading curve. It's going to be fascinating to watch how the tide rises and falls with Brian Daboll now that everyone has convinced themselves Jaxson Dart is no doubt our future, but always the question becomes, is it the future we want you with 2 hands on the wheel for?
So that is going to be the question, right? I don't know what record they'll end up with. They're sitting at 2-5 right now. They know they have their quarterback. You got a hell of a guy in Abdul Carter in that defensive front. You're certainly building in a positive way. The arrow is pointing up. But are you going to and I guess that's what the Mariners are going to have to decide. Is it worth not changing the entire staff, right? Because you're not just changing the head coach. You're changing the entire staff from coordinators down to position coaches. You're changing the what kind of offense you're going to run, what kind of defense you're going to run. Are you willing to do that or keep it going for another year under Brian Daboll? It's going to be real interesting, the decision that's made.
I think if the offense continues to trend in the right direction and there aren't any huge steps back or poor decisions made around Jaxson Dart, I think because Brian Daboll and Mike Kafka are so tied into that, if that performs well, I think it's going to keep Daboll his job for another year. Barring some horrific game management decisions.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be back for 2026 because you don't want to upset the apple cart if you don't have to around the young player that you believe you've gotten. Brian Daboll's track record with quarterbacks, certainly well documented. The rest of that roster still needs work, and I think that's going to come into picture as the rest of the season goes along.